Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate having you on. If we could, please, we'd love to just start out by hearing what your experiences were today at your individual workout at the Compass Mineral National Performance Center.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was awesome. Driving into our training facility this morning, it felt great. We haven't had too much to look forward to lately, especially in terms of soccer. So I think this is uplifting news for everyone and much needed.
Thank you so much, Matt, for your comments. We're going to start out today with a question from Jeff Carlisle of ESPN.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good.
Hey, you talked about how awesome it was to be back on the field today, but how different was it? Only being able to interact with your teammates on such a limited basis. What were the workouts like? How different was that?
Yeah, it was different, obviously, because we're limited in what we can do. I would say that it's what I expected. I don't know if you've been able to watch the protocol video yet, but it was pretty much just like that. I mean, we sat down as a team and watched that video together on Zoom and made sure everybody understood, the expectations and how things were going to run. And if anyone had questions, the questions were asked, but it pretty much went exactly, like the video was shown. And to be honest with you, it felt a lot better than I thought it was going to feel. I had questions myself going into this morning about just going out to a field as an individual, just how much I would be able to get out of that workout. But I was blown away with just how good it felt to be back out on a field. So I think it's a huge positive. I think we all understand that getting back to games is going to be a gradual process. And at first there might be some rules and guidelines that seem over the top, but if it means getting back on the field quicker, I think everyone's more than willing to follow because, I personally got to feel what it was like to step on a field again and to wear cleats and to be, outside and have a ball at my feet. And it was awesome. So I think it's a really good step that we made today.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much. Our next question is going to go to Felipe Cardenas. Felipe?
So Matt, yeah, as you said, being back on the pitch, it's got to be great, but how apprehensive were you, just considering the safety measures that are in place, getting out there on the pitch? And then have you spoken with your international teammates as well, and what was their thoughts of going out today?
I wasn't apprehensive at all, mostly excitement to be able to have this opportunity. You ask a good question about our foreign teammates, and that's something that we've focused on a lot during this time of just trying to communicate as much as possible because everybody's in a different situation. And, being in a foreign country during a time like this, there's certain challenges that go along with that. I also think it's difficult because the timing of when this took place is right at the beginning of the season. So we have a lot of new players that have just got to Kansas City and they literally just moved into their new home or their apartment. So they've only been living here for about 2 weeks, and now they've had to stay home and practice social distancing. And so it's a tough time to try and acclimate to a new city where you're uncomfortable. But again, I think our team has done a really good job of communicating, expectations and just making sure everybody is as comfortable as possible. And if somebody isn't, then, going through the things we need to go through to help them out. But I would say for the most part, everybody on our team is in. They're excited to be able to have this opportunity. I think one thing to kind of, I guess, mention is every situation is different, so I can only really speak for what it's like here in Kansas City and the feelings that we have as a team. Other teams might feel different. Other cities have different rules and regulations and a total different feeling. But Me personally, I'm comfortable returning, and I'm comfortable returning to normal life. And I think my zip code that I live in, the last I checked, which was 2 days ago, it has 7 confirmed positive cases. So, for me, that doesn't seem like, the risk is as high as some other places.
Thank you. Our next question is going to Omer Suzak.
Yeah, Matt, hi. Thank you for doing this. And I had a question. You're talking about the protocols that you live in today, and how important is having these protocols and try to improve it in every single team in the MLS, and maybe, I don't know, it's just a thought, in the other leagues in the US. And also, can you tell me a little bit about Alan Pulido impact in the team, please? Thank you.
On the Zoom call we had as a team, I think we all just understand the importance of making sure that we take the protocol seriously and that we follow the video that was laid out, because there is some responsibility for all the teams who are returning and starting to do this individual training, because I think everybody, we have to take our first step, and this is the first step. And so we have to make sure that we do it the right way, because if we don't, then, we're not going to be able to take the next step. And that's what everybody wants. So like I said, I understand that it's a small step. It's just individual training, but at the same time, there's a lot of excitement within the group to be able to make this step. I think the time is right. And yeah, I think we just all have to be responsible with it, and hopefully the results will go well and we can move on and continue to push forward. Alan Pulido has done an excellent job so far. We've only played 2 games, but right from the very first day he came in, it was clear that he wanted to be a part of our team, and he wanted to win. And those are 2 really important qualities to have, especially on our team. So that was great to see. And he's acclimated a lot faster than I thought he would. Sometimes, we play a certain style, and sometimes it takes players, especially foreign players, at least a few months to kind of figure out, how we play. But it seems like he's clicked from the very first practice, and the results so far show that. So he's been really good. I've enjoyed getting to know him, and definitely enjoyed being on the field with him.
Thank you. Our next question will go to Sean Good. Sean, your line is now open.
Hey, Matt, hope you're doing well. What do these individual workouts look like? What kinds of exercises can you do by yourself in, such a large square?
The great thing about these workouts, and again, this was only the first day, so I can only really speak to kind of what it was like today, but we were able to do a lot of the things that we aren't able to do at home, if that makes sense. When you're at home, you can work out, but there's only so much you can do. When you're on the field and you're in your quadrant and you have a ball at your feet, there's just so much more you can do in terms of ball work. So a couple examples that we were doing was just simply juggling for 30 seconds, and then you take a little break, and then you juggle again. You try and get some touches on the ball. And then the second part of the workout was just the individual fitness part of it. Those were kind of focused on, a lot shorter runs, the sprints, which again is something that you can't really do at home. You can have a treadmill or a bike at home, or you can even go on a longer run sometimes, through your neighborhood. But it's really hard to get like the sprints and the change of direction. And so that's, what this opportunity is providing a lot of us, which is awesome.
Thank you. Our next questions are going to go to Aaron Ladd, followed by Tom Bogert.
Matt, this one for you. I'm curious what the talk is in the locker room amongst teammates about finishing out the season, whether it be a shortened season or anything like that. What are the players thinking about completing the season and that sort of thing?
Well, first of all, there hasn't been any talk in our locker room because we haven't been in our locker room for a while. So the only talk is through Zoom meetings like this and through social media and like text threads. But, so I don't feel comfortable kind of like speaking for our team because I'm not with our team every single day and I don't really have like a good pulse, but I can speak how I feel. I know the league is doing a really good job of just trying to figure out the options right now for us to do that. I think that's something that the owners and the players are both on the same page about. I think, we all want to try and play as many games as possible and we want to finish out our season. I don't know exactly if that's possible or what that could look like. But I can tell you that, from both sides, we're going to try and do everything we can to do that.
Our next questions are coming from Tom Bogert, followed by Simone Sandri.
Hey, Matt, thanks for doing this. I don't want to keep on making you answer the same question about returning to training, but kind of on a different angle. And I know it's early, as you said, this is only the first day, but has kind of the plan been relayed to you as to how often you personally will be going to the facility? Is it going to be 5 times a week, 3 times a week, or no clue yet?
It's going to be open for us. I believe it's 4 times a week. Not exactly sure what days those are, but if I had to guess, it could look something like, Monday and Tuesday, you're able to go in if you want. Wednesday's off, and then Thursday, Friday, you can go in if you want again, and then the weekend will be off. Again, I don't have confirmation of that, but I've heard that somewhere around 4 days a week. Again, I think it's the right move to open up our training facilities because we're programmed to work out, and like as professional athletes, that's in our DNA, and it's not like you can just tell us to stop working out, and I just don't think that's going to happen. And there's only so much you can do at home. And eventually players, are going to go and find another solution because, working out is how we make our living and our careers depend on whether or not we stay fit. And so, providing a safe environment for us to go and do that is to me a big step forward and one that totally makes sense.
Thank you so much. Our next question is going to come from Simone Sandri, followed by another question from Sean Goodwin.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. One of the conversation that's been going on in Europe, in the US, and in different sports as well, is to obviously complete the season in a bubble. And I was just wondering if you as a player do you think that's a possibility, that's a good idea? And would you be willing also to compromise your quality of life by going and living in confined spacement without your family? Would that be something that you personally would be willing to do? And do you think that's something that the soccer community and the sports community in general should be thinking about it?
So I want to make sure I understand your question. So playing in a bubble, that would mean just like playing without any fans?
Apologies. The bubble talk has been made. The idea is to bring basically all the team in a single location, which there's been talking about the NBA, the MLB, and in Europe as well. Basically having all the teams in a single location, and I guess having players staying supposedly without their family, but in a single location and play the games without fans in a single location. Is that something that you as a player would be willing to do? Do you think that's something that the player association would be willing to at least start the conversation about it?
Yeah, that's a tough question because there's just so many possibilities that, we don't really know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I'll go back to what I said before about just wanting to play as many games as possible and finish the season. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. I don't think we're going to be able to just snap our finger and start playing games in front of fans and have it be, exactly like it was before all this. I think it's going to be a process, but yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting for us because, there's other things that are happening around the world right now in other leagues, and we're certainly going to keep our eye on that. And I think, what's going on in Germany and, over in England and Spain and all the other leagues really, I think it's, going to be a collective effort just to kind of see all the different ideas that people have and what works and maybe what doesn't work. I'm confident that whatever does happen and whatever the solution is going to be, I think the players' voices will be heard in terms of being comfortable about returning to play. I don't think the league or the owners are just going to say, all right, we're going to do it this way. This is what we decided. I do think that there's going to be some conversation amongst everyone and trying to get the players' input on, how we feel about, whatever the options are.
Thank you, Matt. Our next is with Sean Goodwin, followed by a follow-up from Jeff Carlisle.
Hey, Matt, what sort of safety protocols or health protocols did you have to go through when you first arrived at Pinnacle this morning? But I know that MLS guidelines are supposed to be kind of a health screening and temperature checks. So just what did you have to go through personally before you even got into Pinnacle?
Have you seen the video yet?
I have not, no.
So the video would basically explain everything and give everyone a visual. I believe they posted it on MLS Soccer website. So we got to our facility, and first of all, when we park our cars, we have to park. There's designated parking spots for the players, and they're like 3 or 4 parking spots away from everyone. So your car is just like sitting alone. And then you have to wait in your car until you get like the okay from one of our trainers who's kind of like standing at this table. That's basically to like make sure that, no one else is around. Once you get the okay, you can get out of your car. You're wearing a mask. You go in and they take your temperature at this like table. Then after your temperature is taken, we washed our hands, and then we were able to go back on the field. I don't know. I mean, I could explain everything that happened in detail, but I think the best thing to do would probably watch that video, because that's pretty much exactly what we did.
Our next question is going to Jeff Carlisle.
And Matt, obviously there have been some discussions between the league and the union about possible pay cuts. What are your thoughts on that? And from what where do things stand?
Yeah, there have been ongoing discussions about that. Everything that I've heard is that, both sides have, communicated with each other back and forth. I think both sides have, done a really good job of being open to each other. But in terms of specifics, I can't really report on that because I don't know. Sorry, I can't help out much with that one.
Thanks, Jeff. Our final question for Matt Besler is going to Felipe Cardenas.
Big step getting to individual training. I'm wondering for you personally, what do you think matches, if and when they take place, what will they look like, considering the players have been away from really serious and rigorous training for so long? Like, is there a concern about match fitness? Is there a concern about just touch and sharpness whenever these games start once again?
That's a good question. That's an unknown that I can't really answer because I don't know what the games are going to look like. But I mean, I think that's one of the interesting, I guess, storylines that, we're going through right now is nobody really knows what the atmospheres are going to be like or, what the stadiums are going to be like. So, I don't know. I mean, until we get there, it's going to be hard to really predict what that's going to look like. I think that, like I said, it's going to be a gradual process. I don't think we're going to open up, individual training this week and then like in 2 weeks we're going to be playing games. I think it's going to be a longer process than that. I'm confident that the league is going to give the player pool enough time of being able to train together as a team, to be able to prepare ourselves to start playing games. And I don't know, I can throw out a number, but, we probably, you need probably 3 weeks at a minimum, maybe 4 weeks at a minimum of full team training before you can start playing games in terms of player safety and trying to get yourself as fit as possible.
Again, thank you so much for joining the call today. Thank you so much to our speaker, Matt Besler. We appreciate your input, and good luck with the season when it resumes.